audible to everyone? Okay, so we'll start the session. Just give me a moment. Just share the screen. Okay, so we have seen in the previous session that how to set up the React router, how to set up the project, then how to use the Tailwind, the classes. Then we had also created multiple pages of the YouTube replica we had created, right? The home page, tab, navigation, layout. So far we have seen the basics of React. So we'll be moving some of the advancements in React. So what are the advanced tools, packages, so what we use so far, and in the advanced stage when you work with the React, what are the tools you would be going to use? Okay, and what are the purpose of that? So so first of all, to explain, React is a single page application. You already know about that, right? Then these frameworks came in and that allowed to use React in the server end also. So now React can be used as a server side and that can be worked as in multi-page applications as well with the same structures, right? And you have the complete mutations and everything options inside that. So that frameworks are like Next.js, Remix, and React Router V7 also supports with the server side rendering. Then we have the tenant stack start for the client side. If you want to go with, you have a simple React Router version. Then you have the tenant stack router with the with rollup. Okay, so these are the things. What are the tools we generally use when we have to build an kind of dashboard, right? So the tools start with, first of all, you use the React app, then you install React and React router, or maybe if you want to use the tech router. So you have this option for the routing to add a routing in the React applications. Okay. Then moving forward, you need some of the styling. So for that, you use Tailwind. I'll also write the purpose as well. So Tailwind is for the styling. This is for routing. Then moving forward, when you have all these, maybe if you're building some kind of website or something, in that case, you need an animation. So to animate something, you usually need a framer motion for animations, fade up, fade in, or whatever. If you want to create some of the advanced animations, then in that case, you use animations. For that, we can use framer motion. To have an example, let me show you with this. So you have this is the example demo. If you can see how smooth animations work without framer motion, also you can make that. But in that case, what happens generally that the animations are not that smooth. But with framer motion, they give you the most advanced things to work with, and that gets the pure animation. So if you can see all these animations, styling. So with framer motions, you have the multiple options. You can see all of those examples to work with, like for the base UI, and then for the buttons, all those things, examples like that. This is for the animations. Then if you need any component library to work with, in that case, you use ShatStream to make dashboard and something. If you need that, then you can use ShatStream. If you need pre-built UI and you do not want your own styles, in that case, you can also go with the material UI. So, to give an example of your chat chain, so this is in a component library. You get most of the components here, like you have the button. If you see the components, you have all those accordion, alert, avatar, badge. So you get pre-built components here. But the benefit of chain is that all those styles is completely customizable in the component. So if you see in the manual, so this is the code of that component. So you can style according to yourself, whatever you want. So this is the benefit of Satisfaction UI. Then you have the material UI. This is material UI is powered by Google, so you would be seeing the Google UI in most of the time in the docs components. You can see all those buttons, tooltip, table. That's most of the similarities to Google Buddy they use because it's the product by the Google itself. They also use material UI in their products. Then you have different component library as well. So, and if you need some of the fancy components for your website, if you're building some kind of landing pages in React, so if you need some fancy components, so nowadays you have an component library as well. You can check out these 21st.dev and some of those. Like I can just use mine. Okay, so here we have all those component library in the 21st.dev. If you visit here, you get all those components which are pre-built. If you need an animated component, or you can see all those examples here. Like if you want to implement some kind of doc in your application, so you can just copy and paste that, and it will be installed in your React application. You have a scroll area. If you have maps, so you can use that. The other examples are also like React bits. So in this also you can see all of those examples. Like if you need some kind of split text, oh, it's not working. Okay. So if you like kind of animated something, so you can have all those things and you can customize that as well, right? So these are the examples, and you can use that for your landing pages. So Satisfier material UI, that is for the component library. If you need some animated components for landing pages, then in that case you can go with 21st.dev or React bits. So this is for landing pages. Now when you come with the dashboard, then you need multiple things like authentication you need, then you need about the database migration, everything. So when you come with the dashboard for the authentication, either you can build your own or you can go with any provider. So you can use either Clerk, as is in front-end course. Backend would be a very tough part to go with. Of course, you can learn that. But if you need that very simple and you need all those things, in that case, you can go with the authentication from the Clerk or any other provider you have, like Supabase or even Firebase. Then, if you need a database to work with and you don't want to create an API for that, in that case, you can visit Firebase Firestore database without knowledge of backend. If you don't want to complicate yourself with the backend services, in that case, you can visit more Firebase Firestore. Then you have Superbase. Nowadays, even Neon works great for this. Now, once your application grows, you need some kind of an analytics tool, right? You would like to track how my users are working with the application. So in that case, to analyze the user behavior, and if you want to replicate how, if there is an error comes to your with your users, in that case, you want to replicate that what error is there, and in that case, you need a session replay. Session replay, user tracking, error tracking. For that, you may use like full story or post hog. These are these tools for which you won't need any backend knowledge. For that only I'm explaining. Okay. Then this is the for the dashboard, whatever you need around the authentication database and then session replay. Now comes with the actual React tools. Okay. What are the packages you would be using to create a dashboard? Dashboard. Now, once you have the authentication and everything, to manage context in the application, you can use just and if you need to make API calls, and you need caching, for that you can use React query. Then to create forms, you can use 10 stack form. For form validation, you can wrap up with 10 stack form plus Zod. Earlier, we used React hook form plus Zod plus normal HTML form. So earlier we used to we had option about React form plus Zod, but nowadays even test stack form works great with the Zod. So if you want to test, you can use the React form plus Zod and normal HTML. And nowadays we have test stack form plus Zod. Sorry. And then if you need to track analytics, then in that case you can use Google Analytics, Facebook Pixel. Suppose that you run ads for your website, and if you are building some kind of an e-commerce store, right? In that case, you need to track that if a sale has been purchased or not. If a user clicks on ad, opens the website, and if they click on the checkout or not, to track the user behavior about that. In that case, you need this Google Analytics and Facebook Pixel. For if you want running ads on Google platforms, then in that case you would need Google Analytics, and if you are running ads on Facebook, in that case you would need Facebook Pixel. Nowadays it calls Meta Pixel. Okay. So if suppose that you need some kind of like video player in some cases, if you're building some kind of an UGC content preview, in that case you need a video player. So although HTML has a video player, but that's very plain, and you do not have the much of the controls. But if you need some kind of video player, something like what YouTube has, in that case you have vid stack. So this is a headless video player. You can design your own, or I guess we have Vine.js. So this is how a video player you can directly use. You can provide the same. It's an video player like YouTube. You have play, pause. Then you have all this mini player option. Then you have all this audio default, playback rates, everything same like in YouTube. Okay, so you have all those tools. So either you can use Vine.js or Widstack. Basically, what happened earlier, there were two tools, that is player.io and Vime.js. Then Widstack came, these two open source project, Vime.js and player.io. Both developers came in and created a new project that is called Widstack. So it is built by them. And this is widely used nowadays, uh, uh, and the Vime.js player. So in the docs, you would see, sorry, in the component. So you have all those components and you can style with your own CSS if you need. They support everything. You have all those layouts and demo about this. So if you see, they have a most extensive player now. So they support now chapters. If you see in the YouTube, based on the timestamp, they create chapters. So you can use that as, and then you have the all those captions for your project. Then you have all those chapters in the list. In the settings, you have audio language or the volume, then the caption, speed, right? Then if you have the casting options, so you can use the cast, right? All this, if you need PIP mode, then you can use that in full screen as well. So this is the basic code. If you can see, it's same as a normal code you use for the HTML. That is a video tag. It's a bit of extensive now, but what's benefit here? They give you the complete styling for that and all those functions. So you do not need to create your own about this. And it also supports this HLS streaming dash everything. So if you want to integrate some kind of video ad like pre-roll ad, post ad, roll ad, mid ads, in all those cases, you can get that from here. Okay. So for this now, yeah, for context, we got the stand for API calls and React query forms. We got test form, and for form validation, we got Zod. So these are the base first phase of the advancement. Then you can move with the other tools as well, when you want. You can also create some kind of an SDK if you want. Maybe like there are components and packages we install, right? In that case, if you want to create some tools for the other developers, in that case, you can also do that in the later phase. Then for table, in table there are multiple things, right? If you want to add search, column filtering, data table pagination, everything. For that, you can use 10 stack table. Okay. Then most of the time, what happens is currently we manage state from uh, use state hook, right? That what happens usually, that if you refresh the page, use state gets completely reset, right? So if you want manage to state from the URL, if you would see in e-commerce stores, what happens, you would select like color, sizes, right? In that case, in the URL itself, it's there, everything data. Even in the example of the YouTube, so if there is any playlist or something for this, there is any. So by default, if you see for the video ID, we are passing in the YouTube, the ID is being passed as in query parameters, right? So the pages is the same, but ID is being passed from the query parameters. In the playlist, also playlist ID and everything that is within the URL itself. So state is being managed from URL. So Just a moment. So for URL state, there is a library called NUQS. So what it allows you to, you can manage all the state same as like use state, and all those use state will be there from the URL. So it says type safe search params state manager for React in the playground. So suppose that for the counter, if you see, it's being getting increased from there, and the counter is working, right? So they have created a library for that to manage state from the URL, even for the batching or for the even paginations. So in the table or something, when you need a pagination for that, so in that case, like you can see, that would work, right? So all of those, it is working. Okay, then just a moment, I'm getting a call. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, so for URL state, we have this a new QS library. With this, you would be able to manage the state in your application from the URL. Okay. Then suppose that what happens if you have like thousands, if you have a table and this is your screen, you have your tables here, right? So what happens if you have like hundreds of rows or maybe so maybe like you have like thousands of rows, right? Thousands of rows. Now in that case, what will happen to render all those and to add the filter? HTML DOM in your browser may hang, or they may get a memory leak for that, right? To update all those big amount of elements. So to work with this scrolling and to display all those correctly on data, there is a tool called Stack Virtual. Okay, so what this does, whatever in the position of screen you have, and the scroll bar position, based on that, it will display that amount of content only in the DOM. So to show React Virtual. So now you see, you have thousands of rows and only the positions in the screen you have, based on that only the data will be updated in that case, right? So, so the end of page, if you have 640, so up to this data only will be visible in the DOM, not all those. So what will happen in this case, that you are not rendering all those thousand rows at once. Instead, you are using scroll offset, and based on that height, you're deciding what elements need to be shown at that time, and only that elements you are fetching and updating in the DOM. So instead of showing all thousand rows at a time, now you're showing around 10 to 12 items at that time, and based on the scroll positions, that is getting updated. Only 10 components, right? So updating 10 elements is better than updating, of course, 1,000 elements. So for this, there is an address virtualization, which is called 10 stack virtual, which means massive scroll surfaces without the massive DOM, right? So this is very efficient way to handle long tables. You can use 10 stack virtual. Then if you want to manage states in the advance, there may be like multiple states, right? So I guess there is a library called XState. So if you need an advanced state management for your React application, in that case, you can use this XState, and it's basically a kind of an state management machine. So you have like a multiple increment and decrement function. Then you can create a context for that, and that you can create multiple functions for that. Either you want to set, update, or whatever you can do. If you click on simulate, then you have all these options. So for advanced state management, then if you need an atomic state for that, we already have this just 10. If you need atomic state management, in that case, we have this just 10. If you need simple for this state management, you can go with the just and rather than the X state. Okay, both works the same. Then if you need the middle where for the Justin, I guess that is the Emer that is already comes with the Justin. Then for the forms, I had already told you about the React hook form and then the Zord for the validation, right? For routing on the React router or the stack router. Then you have the interactions basically. If you need some of the keyboard shortcuts you want to work with. So suppose that if you want like control plus C or control like a space bar combinations you want to work with. So keyboard shortcuts. Then you would need CMDK for that. Then for like drag and drop feature, if you need file drag and drop, in that case you can use DND kit. Let me just show you about that. This is CMDK. So if you need some kind of keyboard shortcuts, so if I just press command and K, it will open. So I haven't just touched here, I haven't clicked. I'm just pressing command K and it's open. So this is how you can create keyboard shortcuts for your dashboard. In that case, you can use this. For drag and drop, you have the indicate. I guess if there is any demo or not for this to show. Okay, here is examples. So you have all those options like you can drag and drop. So sometimes you have to build something like this task management. Have you used this any Jira or some kind of project management tool? In that case, you would see that you would drag some cards and place to another table. So in that case, you can use this draggable. You can drag somewhere to this. Then you have this drag to sort in order. Suppose that you have multiple fields and you want to sort based on that. In that case, you can use this draggable component. Okay. Then if you need some kind of toast notifications for your application, so for that you have Sonar. Why is this slow? I guess they've merged this. Okay. So if you need to some kind of show the toast for that on your application, that maybe it's loading or the application has been saved or some kind of a toast notification you want to show. So for that you can use this Sonar app for that, like event has been created and if you want to undo, then you can do all those things. Right. So for toast notifications, there is Sonar. And then for dialogue and everything, you have this all inside the set chain, so you can use that component for that. Then if you need for testing to test your React application, then you have, I guess, we test and just these are the two platforms to and the JavaScript testing. You can run the JavaScript test on from the Jest and we test. So these are the two frameworks which you can use to test your React applications. So you don't you have the both option. You can even manually test and you can provide the automations for that as well. So these are the two platforms for the JavaScript testing. Then suppose that you want to merge work with the date. So working with the date is very complicated in the current scenario, and to handle the time zones and all those things. Suppose that you need the date formatting and everything. So you have two libraries for this. We have date FNS and moment. So you can use moment.js. They give complete package for that. You can get all these formats like today date format, how you want. So either it's the complete date format or you want current day what it is, or like if you want the date ago and everything you want to calculate. So for this, this is the best packages you can work with, and you have all those time zones ability as well. So for date, you can work with the data FNS and moment.js. And then for the table, I already discussed about the React table, right? So these are the most of the tools you will be working with. I guess for the component library, I already explained, right? So to give you an recap on this, to first of all, starting the React application, so you work with a React.js installation from the npm create with latest. Then you set up the React router from that process itself, and Tailwind also gets pre-installed in that. Then, if you need a component library, then you can use Chain for animations. You can use Framer Motion. Then, if you need animated components for landing pages, in that case, you can use 20, First.dev and React Bits. There are more component libraries based on Chain. So you can use that. Then, if you need an authentication provider, then you can use Clerk. So to give you an example, I guess for the 21st.dev, I just logged in that case. So if you're seeing that login pop up, right, that was from the clerk itself. So if you're building some kind of personal projects, in that case, you do not want to waste time on the authentication building in the backend, right? So for that, you can use this clerk and you get a complete authentication UI, and all the backends are handled by the clerk itself. Up to 10,000 active users, you are free to use this clerk. So you get all those components like sign up, then you have sign in, you have the user button to see all of these users profiles, everything you can create that. You can even create custom forms inside that. And you can, if you want to have a wait list, suppose that you have a website something, and you want to get all this information about users who are interested in your product. So you can create a wait list for that. Then sometimes you have a B2B authentication, like some there are personal users, then some there are organizations, right? So in that case, you can create organization. Then you have organizations which a multiple organization user can be part of. Then organization profile. Then you have the organization list, which are the organization they are part of. Then they also provide with you the billing. So billing is very complicated, to be very frank on this. To manage billing of your own, it's very complicated. So for that also they give you integration with the Stripe. Stripe is a payment gateway. So either you can use your own code and you can build your own. But to go with the, if you are going with the clerk, you can integrate billing directly into the clerk. So you have all the spacing tables, then all the billing, what plans they are on, then on the organizations also they can work with. Okay. Then just to have a note about the payment. If you need to collect payments, you need a payment gateway. So either it's an Stripe for international, it's very popular and known. In India currently, it's restrictive and it's an invite only. So you would not get an access to Stripe for now. Okay. So you have other options in India, like you have Razor Pay or PayU or any other. So these are the payment gateways. So either you can create your own, write your own code backend and everything to manage the subscriptions and everything, billing, or either you can integrate directly into the clerk. But it only supports the this you drive through a provider. So there are multiple providers for that. So these are like Polar or Dodo payments. Polar.sh or Dodo payments. These are merchant of record. So basically, what happens when you collect payments? Of course, this is a financial topic. I am not a financial advisor in this case, but to explain about this, what is a merchant of record? So basically, if you are collecting payments in India and if you're collecting payments from the USA, so you are also liable to pay taxes in the US. If you're collecting payments from any other country like Singapore, you are liable to pay taxes in the US and Singapore as well. So in all countries, you are not able to manage everything, right? In that case, this merchant of record comes in. So in this case, what happens? You are not collecting payment directly. They are the ones who are collecting payment from the users. They are the managing who are managing taxes in all those countries. What happens in this case? They collect the payments for you, and then they provide you the payout for in that case. So what happens in this scenario? Basically, here is the user, and you are the business. So if you are working with the payment gateway like Stripe or Razorpay, your name is visible to user. User and business both are on the payment gateway. User sees the name of your business. User is business name that they are paying to particular business. But when it comes to merchant of record, and so business is liable in this case of all taxes in all countries. But in case of merchant record, what happens? Here is the user, business, and MOR. So business is in the MOR contact, and user pays to MOR. You create the payment link. Merchant record will send the payment link to users. They will pay to MOR. They will see this name. So suppose that in this case, like Polar. So user would be saying that they are paying to Polar, not the business name, right? So now Polar is accepting payments for you, and once the payment is collected, they handle all the taxes and they deduct the charges for that and they will pay you. Same case here also. Stripe collects payment for you and then they pays you, but the charges are different because they handle the taxes and other things as well. So like MOR charges is a bit high, but you get easy in the compliance part that way. Okay, this was the payments part. Also, one of those things, there are also consent management. When you work with the cookie consent management, if you're working with the cookie for the user behavior tracking and everything to show ads in your platform, in that case, you need a consent form for that. You need to maintain a log for that. If you do not want to maintain log for your own platform, you do not want to build a backend for that. In that case, you have this consent. So it is compliant by all the phones. You see the cookie notice. We use cookie to enhance your browsing experience, your personalized content. You can customize all those actions, right, and allow you can necessary. So this is the cookie consent platform like this. So you get kind of free some kind of request, I guess, maybe like thousands or something. So based on that, you can use this consent management forms. Either you can build your own, or even you can use some other system. So there are multiple platforms you can look for that to manage the consent about the cookie. If I just give you some of the examples, cookie. So you have like this one. This is the one of those products, but I guess this is a bit expensive. You can research your own for that. So all of those purpose are same. So you can see all of what are the cookies and preferences, and based on that you can store this. Because this is a compliance tool based on either India or any of the countries, you need to maintain some kind of logs for that. So you can use the cookie consent form for that. So these are the tools which makes your complete platform for software as a service if you want to build your own. So this is the most of the tools, and we have two sessions more, right? So we'll be using all of those tools to create some kind of a project, either it's a dashboard or something. We'll be creating a project and utilizing all of these tools. We'll be implementing this context API calls. We'll be testing. Then we'll be also using this form validations and everything. So let me just show you a demo of everything. So once we start getting tomorrow, you would know everything what we are actually doing. Okay. You already know about the routing, React router, Transact router. That is the same thing basically, but with a different provider. And Tailwind is for the styling, Framer Motion. Let me give you some kind of documentation as well for this. So React. So suppose you need to import React motion from the motion React, then React client. Then you can use instead of using the normal HTML components, you have these motion components like motion.dev, right? Then you can add your own CSS for that. Then you have this animation, animate scale too. So it will grow bigger in it will scale up. Then while in view, the opacity will be one. Then style in the x to the 100, so the position basically to be the 100 pixel. So that based on the performance, you can create all this motion value, or you could based on the tracking basically. Then animate presence, so basically for the height show, these are the animations you can have. Then layout group, so based on as I explained earlier that you use motion components rather than the normal HTML component. So you can use motion.dev, then motion.s2, and based on this you can show. Then you can build some kind of a carousel for using this framer motion. You see how smooth it's. Then you can also make some kind of cursor tracking. You see, based on the tracking purposes, you can create that. Then you have another example of this scramble text. Then you also have ticker. So these are the examples only using the motion framer motion. Now it's called motion due to some, I guess, copyright issues they had earlier. There is an other website builder tool like framer, so they had some naming conflict and they changed it to motion. Not a- Then you had this React bits and 24.dev, which is based on Shatchian. So Shatchian would be actually all. Else you have option to work with the direct HTML as well. If you are not working with the React and Shatchian, so you have options to work with the HTML also. So that won't be an issue with that. And there's some problem with the React bits website. So you have all those options here. Either you have this curved loop, then you have the gradient text options. I guess you have more of the options here for the text animations. You got this. Then if you need an animation, like create content and the orbit images, so you have all of these options, right? So you can use all those. This is the anti-gravity animations you have in the anti-gravity website. This is the same here. So you can check out all those components based on your needs, and when if you want to use that, you can go with the code and you can install whatever packages is used in this, and then this is the actual code you would require to have in there, and you can utilize that. Okay, so this is the manual process. If you want to go with the CLI format, you can simply run this code with the shat. If you have Shadowsyn installed in your React project, so you can directly use this and it will be auto setup. You won't have to write any of the code, or you will not have to copy and paste. Everything is completely automated. Okay. Then for authentication, we are showing you the clerk. For the database, you can use either Firebase, Firestore. Earlier, it was a NoSQL database without the schema. Now, if you want, you can also maintain a schema for your Cloud Firestore. So you have all those options now with the Firestore. But what happens with the Firebase? You get vendor logged in. So they have their own database engine. So if you want to migrate from the Firestore, it would be a difficult thing to move with that. So instead, you can use Supabase or Neon. They are powered by the Postgres engine to the database. So if you want to ever move to any other provider, so it would be very easy to move with that. So Supabase and Neon are the two providers which is working with the Postgres. Here you can use that, and they expose an API route for your database, so you can use that. And they do have support for row level security (RLS) support, so you can use an authentication layer with that. Then for session replay, you have post hog. So basically, you have all those options here if you need to maintain session replay and everything. I guess if I can just show you, these are like product analytics. Then you have this session replay. So in that case, you can view all of these activity of an user, that which page they are moving, what buttons they are clicking, or what are the network types, what API is being called, which error is there or not. So all of these options are there. Then you have the feature flag option if you want to enable feature or not based on that. Right. For that, you can use Postal. Or you have also other platform as well, like Full Story and other. So you can use that. Then you have this analytics. If you want to enable analytics for your application, that what pages. These are usually for the e-commerce site. If you want for dashboard also, you can use that. No problem with that. But these are generally for the landing pages and the e-commerce site. Then for that you can use the Google Analytics or the Metapixel. Okay. Then for the dashboard building for the code, to manage the context around the application like theme or the user authentication, everything. So to manage that context, you can use like just and that is a very easy way to manage the context. Then to have an API calls and you need caching, stale time up to what that data shall be stale. So you can manage all those with the React query. So React query. Mm, so you have the database management system that is called Stack query. So you see, you can have an option like a refetch. Then you can invalidate any query. Everything you have. You can also have a caching. So you can use this React Stack query for the API calls and everything. You would be writing the same API calls like in the use effect, but there's a difference that it provides more than that for the loading state or if there is any error. So everything and that can be done within the React query. For the example, you can see if you are need to get a to-do API, right? So they have this use query function hook basically. Then you can you would be providing in key for that and the query function over to work with that. So it exposes data, the data from the query function. Then is pending. It means the loading state and error. If there is something wrong with the API, so it will throw an error for that. So if the for to show a loading state, you can use the is pending to show the loading state, and if there is any error, you can use the error from the use query. Then on the data you can expose like this. So React Query is a very good package if you want to manage the API calls in your applications. Okay. Then the test stack form I'd already shown you earlier as well. The 10 stack form, it works with sort very great. Even they have their own inbuilt validation. Either you can use their own inbuilt validation or you can use the Zord. Both works fine. Right. You can see they are managing like use form from the tenant stack React form, the default values on submit what to do. So they have the form and then the form field. They have the validation their own, right? So everything either you can have validator in each field directly. That's the best part of the tester form, or eventually you can also enable the Zord validation. So for Zord, you can manage schema like this. So you have z dot object, you can have name and word names cannot be integer, right? It has to be in a string. So z dot string, then if you need an age, then you can use z dot int. And if you need a large integer, then you can use big int as well. So there are multiple options, right? The username, XP, so z dot number. And if you need very basic validations for that, they have an less size called Zord Mini. So it also works similar, but their packet size is less if you need a very basic command of the Zord. Okay. Then for video player, I'd already shown you about the YMJS and with stack. For 10 stack, you can use 10 stack table. We have 10 stack table. So tech table is the most advanced, I guess, table you have in the examples I can show you. So you have all those column filters, search, order, and even pagination. You have all those options, right? So you have all those options here. You can add an pagination for that when you need. You say you have this first name ordering, you have multi-column ordering as well. Then you can search from the column. So you have all of those things, right? Then you have the pagination as well. You want to go to the last page, you can click on this first page. You can jump into the specific page as well. So everything, you have option inside the table you want to build with. So it's complete headless. You need to style your own. Uh, Even the shared CN uses 10 stack table now. So in the shared CN, in the table, they uses shared CN table only. So you have table and the data table, right? So you have checkbox selections, you have the ordering, then you have the drop down, right? So you have what all of these options. Uh, you have the search filter as well. What column you want to make it visible, you can do that as well, right? So you get the complete options from here. Then URL state, we've seen about the NUQS library. If you want to manage the query state from the URL, you can use that. Then for managing tables with a large data, in that case, you can use 10 stack virtual. So the data need to visible in the screen, only that is shown in the DOM, and the rest is just wiped out. So for the advanced state management, either you can use Xstate or the Justin. Both are good, but Justin works great, and that is very easy to manage. If you need to work with the keyboard shortcuts, you need to use a CMDK library. And if you need to build some kind of a sortable list, or if you need a drag and drop a builder, in that case, you can use the ND kit. For the toast notification, you can use Sonar to do the JavaScript testing. You can use vtest or jest. And then for to manage the dates formatting, you can use datafness and the moment. For the payment, you have this type and polar. Can you show you polar message? So these are the billing platform. If you need to work with the MOR, and like Stripe is not available in India, and with this Razorpay and other payment gateways that are not good with the billing. And the benefit is if you are like a solo developer and you don't have any company registered, so it would be better to go with the MOR. So it makes it very easy to get a payment gateway, because with the Razor and other payment gateway, they don't provide to individual in the most of the cases. They require like GSTIN and everything, so that are very hard. So if you're a personal and solo developer, you can go with this MOR. So either it's Polar or like Dodo payments, both works great. So this is a kind of dashboard you have like home. You can manage your products, customers, and the analytics and everything, right? So this Polar and Dodo payments both works great. I guess Dodo payments pricing is a bit justified. Like they have all this download center as well. So what happens? You can create like a download center for your in the store. You can create a basically store, right? So they make the payments and you can send them a file directly. So this is one of the best thing provided by the Dodo payments. Like this store, I can show you the distribution storefront. So you can manage the storefront directly within the Dodo payments. So you can create products and the subscription or the one-time purchase option, and then you can send them a download link for your file or all those things. So you can work with the payments. I guess this is the theoretical part, and from tomorrow, last 2 days, we'll be seeing building basically with these tools. I guess I can just show you installation of this shared chain. To set up shared chain, they give complete customizations, of course, of all of those themes and everything. You can click on this. You have the different styles with this. You have this Vega. You can see the Nova, Lyra. So you have the complete different styles uh, for the theme. Then you can choose the what base color you want. Either you want neutral, zone, maya, olive, mist, or top. Right. So you can choose for the neutral for the black. Then theme you can choose either blue, green, whatever you have a theme for your application. Then chart color also you can go with that. I guess I would choose blue or something. Then you can choose font like just font or enter so whatever you want to go with. I would go with the just font only. Then you have the multiple icons library. Either you want to choose a Lucide or Tabler or huge icons. Lucide works great for the use case. Then you can manage the radius for this. Either you want a square complete, then in that case you can go with the none or the small, even up to large. You have the options to go. Right. So I choose for the default. Then you have the menu icon, what you want to work with. So based on this, they give you preset to work with. Now you click on get code. Now you can choose a template. So I would choose like Vite and React, either React router. Then what are the base you want? Either you want to work with Redux UI or base UI. Saturn works with the both options. Either it's Redux UI or base UI. Redux UI is from the very starting, so you can use Redux UI. Base UI is a new. And then if you want to use cursor pointer, because what happened in the last few updates, Saturn removed this cursor pointer for the button, so you can enable from here only. Then if you have multilingual website like then you would need RTL support as well. So like for Urdu language and Arabic language, it needs to be right to left. So you can enable the RTL support. If you are working with a mono repo, you can do that. Then either you are working with the npm yarn or burn, you can choose that. So I would copy this command and I would open a terminal. I had front-end class project, right? So I can create here. I would just run this. It would install React router and React.js from here itself. So everything will be from the starting only. Tailwind CSS React router and everything will be from here. So you do not need to set up from the beat. You can, if you are using Saturn, you can actually just generate a preset from here and then you can run that command. It will install your React with React router or whatever framework you want to work with, and it will set up your complete project. So just wait for a while and it will set up everything. Okay. So if I just open this code, so now you see a complete application. Yeah. This is a white.config.js. This is the starting point of the wheat. Then you have the ts config. This is the package.json, where some of the packages has been installed by default, like CLSX, then Lucid, React, Redux UI. Basically, these are the dependencies used with the Satshian and Tailwind. So those are the ones. So let me just run this. And now if I open, So now you see, new project ready. You may now add component and start building. We have already added the component for you. So they have added a component, and this is the session have been installed. If you need to install some other components, you can install that. So if you need to install, you can simply go here. Like if you need to install alert, or if you need to install avatar for yourself, or you need to install any other components, you have this option in the command and pick sets and latest add. If you want to add all of those everything you need to install at once, so you have this. You can simply click on sets and latest add, and you can select all those components which you want to install one by one. Or if you need to install every component at once, then you can simply click on A and it will select all, and it will install all of these components for you. So in the components UI folder, this is for the chat chain. So they maintain everything inside the UI folder. So once I click on install, they will install all the dependencies and it will install in the UI folder, all the components. So just wait for a minute and I'll just show you. Okay. Like now they have one warning the tooltip component has been added. They want to wrap with the tooltip provider. So we need to update our layout, and inside that we need to provide with the tooltip provider. We'll do later on, but this is how. And to show something, I can copy this for this, and I'll just import in the routes home. Okay, and I'll import here and this as well. Okay, and the empty component. Okay, this is the tabular icon. We have the loose side icon. The folder. Now if I try to npm run dev, okay, I guess we can just run from here. The button, I'll just import, sorry, from the component UI button. The component UI I'm taking import. Okay, I guess now just refresh. So you have this empty component, right? So we utilize this side chain component to display something like this. So you see, it's the same look like when we copy pasted the code, and it looks like this. So this is the side chain you can utilize. They have their own. If you want to customize this, so in that case, you can go with the component there, and they use Tailwind CSS. So if you want, you can customize the styles according to you, and you can just use the components around the application. So you have in your own design system for your dashboard or website, whatever you want to use, right? So this is it. In the tomorrow session, we'll build a dashboard to see utilization of all those tools. Okay. If you have any questions, you can ask. If you have any questions, you can ask. Do you have any questions? No questions, then that's it. In demo session, I will set up everything, all of those tools we discussed so far. and we'll build some uh, project to test all of those tools, and we'll see the working as well. Okay, thank you, everyone.